So I've needed to go in and put a couple of service tickets in. And when I go to my support center, now watch, it'll go there. When I've clicked on support center, it takes me to this, and there's no name up here, and I have to log in. And if I try to log in, it knocks me out. But I also have Microsoft Edge. Let me find it here. So now I'm going to do a new share. Okay, so now I'm in Microsoft Edge. I'm not in Chrome anymore. And if I go to partner.healyworld.net/login, which is where we log in, and I do this again, so I was actually able to come into Microsoft Edge today and make a sale. Hopefully it won't prove me wrong on this, but make a sale and actually get into the back center, change the address that I needed to with absolutely no problem. So I think we need to look at maybe if I know an Apple, isn't it? Like, see, I'm in there now. And so I could jump over to the shop. If I go to her shop, it should still say Shireen up here. So I'm wondering if we use like Mozilla. What's the one? It's not Safari, but what's the other one? Mozilla,
Google Chrome, Edge, Microsoft
Look at,
Edge.
I'm in her shop and her name's there. It's like there's less people using these servers, so the connections are clearer. So I was really excited about that because I thought I need to change somebody's address, the billing address, before I can even order for them. And I couldn't get into the shop. I couldn't change anything from the back office. And I thought, you know what? I saw somebody using Mozilla or whatever the name is. And I thought, you know what? I have Edge. I'm going to just pull it up and see what happens. And in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I was completely done with the whole sale or the whole upgrade. So try a different server, because that Chrome obviously is getting used very heavily, and probably Safari, maybe even Firefox is getting a lot of attention. So try some of the other ones. But that was, unless we want to do something else while I'm here, let me know.
It's up to you. I actually have a sale that needs to, I couldn't get through yesterday, and maybe that was the issue. I was on Google Chrome. Just so everybody knows, I have a few announcements, but I had ordered finally the animal thing package with the subscriptions over the weekend. And then I had a client come in yesterday, which I'll tell her story about her troubleshooting. She decided to buy the same animal package, the one that's like $600. And we tried for half an hour to get the sale to go through, and it just kept sitting there. It wouldn't even let me view the cart. You know, I could go to the product, I could put it in the cart, but the cart wouldn't populate. So if you want to do it together, I could actually text you her credit card information. I mean, not that we have to do it online, but it may be helpful for people to see, because like we said last week, if you're trying to do this during prime time, you might get stuck. And then I meant to go back in at 10 o'clock last night and do it. It never happened. So if you want to do
unless you want to, I can go through like our YouTube channel and stuff, unless you want to try getting into, do you have Microsoft Edge?
I do, but I'm on my phone and not my computer. So that's the only reason I was suggesting if you want to do it, but it's no big deal. I think people should just take that hint that you just said, but also remember not to do it in the middle of the day, because it's also a timing issue. Because the other one I did over the weekend, that I did my own sale like Friday or Saturday night, I did it like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and it went speeding through on Google Chrome. So I still think it's also a bottleneck.
I agree. I was just so surprised when I went to Edge, and oh my gosh, it went through immediately, and I got in to close the service ticket, open a new one, and then go in and change the address and do everything I needed to do in that one account that I literally could not get to on Chrome because I kept coming here. So when I would go back to that person's, this will be my mom's, but her back office. So here we are in her back office, and you can see her name up here. And then I would go to shop, and then it would just take me to that blank login page. And if I tried to log in there, it would just bring me back to that login page. So doing it on another server was really big. So here I am in her shop, but look at, see, I'd have to log in again. And then when I would do that, and this now it's even just a blank, I guess it is trying to load, but it's not her shop. This is like coming in as a customer. So
Yeah,
it
you
needs,
could also do the incognito thing, Maria.
let me try
Um,
that. Let me try that. I'll open that right now and let me switch my share that screen.
You might just want to tell people how to get there, because incognito has also worked for me. So it's not finding the cookies of the people I've logged into before and keep defaulting to those people's
Right. So here,
thing.
up here, is it the same on a Mac? Do you have the same to get to an incognito? Anybody with a Mac on the phone or on the Zoom call that can say, I mean, here's the 3 buttons you click and it'll take you through your tab, your history and everything. But here's that new incognito window. And that's what I've pulled up is this black screen. But I don't know where that's at on a Mac.
There's a command for it. If you go to Google and search how to get to incognito, it's a command thing. You can
Okay.
get to it through a command.
No, I don't want it.
Well, sometimes it's good because of your cookies messing with you. Like if you are frustrated because you've been in Healy doing something for someone else, and then every time you try to go do something, it's defaulting to their Healy account. Incognito mode is the way to get around that, because
So
it
here,
does search for
yeah,
any
so here
cookies.
I've gotten into my mom's. And so let's try it again. I'm going to go to shop. And let's see if in the incognito window, it'll actually take me to her shop. So see, no, it's login. So, but this is still Chrome, right? This is still a Chrome incognito window.
Yeah,
And
but
I
it
find,
shouldn't be defaulting. But it shouldn't be defaulting to what you did before.
well, it should go to her shop.
No, in incognito, it should not.
If I click on shop, it shouldn't go to her shop.
Well, her shop, if you're logged into her, but what I'm saying, the point of incognito is it's not accessing your cookies.
Right, exactly. And so I tried this to do the same thing. So here I am in, in this window. And so this is the first time I've been here today.
Your backpack needs to be rinsed off.
And then if I go ahead and click on shop, then we can see if it goes there.
Maria, I can't. Brittany, can you please mute yourself? You're unmuted.
I can't see how to get to her, or I would.
Yeah, she was under participants. You have to go to participants and mute, but since I'm not
Oh, got
hosting.
you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So here I am, I clicked on shop and I'm back there. But if I go back to new share and go back to this, let me make sure which I'm going to the right one. Go to this one. Is this my edge? Oops. So this is my edge. See, I'm in her shop. If I click the back button and go to her original place where I was. Okay, so here I am on Microsoft Edge. So I'm on Edge and I'm in my mom's back account. If I go to shop now, it should just take me to her shop because it just seems like all the pathways are established or just easier to get through. Less crowd, I guess, on this platform. See, there's her shop and I can get right into her stuff and order. So that's a tidbit for today. Let's see here. Let's go back to the incognito window, which is here. Let me click out of that actually. Oops. Stopped shared window is closed. Oops, I guess I closed my window. I just closed it out. Let me share screen again. There we go. I have too many screens up now that are weird. Okay, there we go. There's ATP. Okay, so I wanted to show people also, this is mine and Gwen's YouTube channel. So if you just, I'll show you how to get there. If you just type in youtube.com and then you type up here in the search bar, Gwen and Maria. Don't go to Gwen Stefani. Gwen and Maria. And you'll get Gwen and Maria here. And when you click on that, Then I think we have everything uploaded. We didn't upload last week's Tuesday night call because it was all about the Healy promotion. And that's all in here in a little 20-minute video that I put together. And then since then I had somebody's Healy delivered to me that should have been in Arizona. So I took that opportunity to do a video on how to set up your pink dot and what it looks like, what the screens look like, and then also how to swipe close the app on the pink dot if you want to just run your Healy by itself. So that's all there. And then hours from the 19th and the 26th. So everything is up to date now on YouTube except for tonight.
Hey,
So
Maria,
yeah,
that pink dot video you did, was that for
Uh-huh.
a iPhone or was that an Android?
that is an Android.
Cool.
Yeah,
Very
I
cool.
should put
Thank
I
you.
should put that on there. I did say in there how to swipe closed and double click on the home button or hard swipe. Sometimes it's a cross swipe to get so it's showing all the apps that are open. But I did show that. There just seems to be a lot of issues with people right now being not with people, a lot of issues with the connection and the connectivity of the Bluetooth. And Gwen, you want to tell your story, what you did with your people that came to visit you?
Yeah. Are you talking about the one with the 3 Heelys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to tell a few stories. We don't have to show my screen yet, but I am in a second going to want to show some other things, some outward signs, because people are asking me some other questions. But okay, so two troubleshooting things, and I know that you guys could hear me tired of me saying this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. So Carol shared a story of a mutual friend of ours in Houston who has a Healy, and she kept saying it wasn't connecting, it wasn't working, and she would, and I think this is a lot on these calls, and the Tuesday calls is about technical help, but I think it always sounds like there's a lot more people having problems because it's some of the same issues over and over, and we really want to get across how to, help resolve these. So I have two examples tonight. One is that her name's Mary. Y'all wouldn't know who she is, but she goes to Carol's house, and everything's working fine, but it's again about closing the app. It's like she was flipping between apps and not closing them properly, and then it wouldn't connect. So I can't emphasize enough that even if you have to, get Apple support or Apple Care or go to your cell phone store, make sure on your phone that you know how to close the apps, because that was the only problem, was that she just really didn't get, and I get this email this from people too. I'm going to read one guy's email that came in this week because he's a person that's not on the Tuesday calls. And the people that are his direct upline, I don't think are really sharing with him this information. And so sometimes it's just really important to share this information with your downline, that every time you go out of Healy, whether it's to answer a call, respond to a text, you're going from pink dot to blue dot, you're going from blue dot to pink dot, you have to keep your apps closed. And so Carol told Mary, just always close all your apps. I mean, because you have how on your computer you have like windows open and you have like 10 things open because you went and looked at 10 things. Like on Maria's computer, if she goes to the top, you might see that she has a bunch of tabs open. Well, basically the same thing is happening on your phone on everything that you've been going to or looking at. But what happens sometimes is that Healy app gets buried. So it's not the very last thing you did. Maybe you went and looked up some restaurant on the Grubhub, and then you did something else, and then all of a sudden you don't see that Healy's the last app open, so you just assume it's closed. And that is like one thing. Okay, so the next thing was another person had 3 Heelys. She had one was her original Healy that she dropped in water. She got a replacement Healy that she was fairly convinced wasn't activated because all she got was the one program on the screen. Then she had another Healy that she said she was having connection problems. And then one of the 3 was working fine. So she kept expressing she was frustrated, and she's in Houston. So just like with Mary, she came over and I said, bring all 3 Heelys and bring your devices and let's just see what's going on. So the first thing I always do, and this is for you guys that are in uplines, especially if the people are in your area, this is a lot easier than trying to do it over the phone because you can't see what they have going on. The first thing I do always is put their device on my phone to see if it's working. In her case, all 3 devices on my phone worked fine. So troubleshooting 101 is you have to figure out, is it the device or not? Okay, if the Heelys are activated on my device, they would be activated. It's not then an activation issue. And she had support tickets on the other devices. So she thought her replacement was defective and she was getting connection issues on her second one. So then we said, okay, let's try them on your phone, like on her phone, which was where she was having the problem. And once we got the first one connected, it was acting weird. And what I noticed sitting here, and I don't know if I've ever noticed this before, that the Healy that she had on her bra when she walked in that was working, she had sat down on my desk. Okay. So the one then that she thought wasn't working that I handed back to her, she was trying to connect to her phone. And I saw in real time the one that she had just taken off of her bra light up. Now it had been sitting there turned off. It tries to light up and then the phone is not seeing the new Healy, which she has just turned on. Okay. So I was like, oh, okay, well, it's trying to find the one you just used, even though that's not the one she wanted to use. So just for the hell of it, I said, you know what? Take that one outside, like go stick it in your car because it's on my desk and you just used it. And the Healy is trying to find your phone and it's going to the last one you used. And I don't know if it was Maria or someone else who told me there was like a 10-minute, someone told me this recently.
Yeah, we were talking about it. I think
That's what I
Doc
thought you
Steve,
do.
yeah, I think it was Martin or Doc Steve said that there's a 5 to 10 minute window that the Bluetooth will remain active, even though the LED light isn't blinking, that it literally stays. It's kind of like just asleep, but active.
Yeah.
And so if you turn your phone back on, it'll recognize it.
And it was turned off. And so it's recognizing a device that's turned off. And she's convinced she has 2 defective units. So she takes the Healy outside, which is a good, I don't know, it's not that far, 100 feet from where we're sitting at my desk. And then she goes back in and she has to connect to a Healy and then she has to do the serial number. We never deleted an app. We never did a hard restart. We never did anything. We just got the other Healy away from us. It worked fine. Okay. So then we took that one outside, took it to the car, got to the third one. It worked fine. So all of her issues were like she was using her husband's and then she was trying to use the one that came in. Then she was trying to use a third one that she bought it while she was waiting for the second one that was a replacement. And she was trying to basically interchange all of them on her phone at any given time. So what my advice to you after seeing this yesterday is that if you have more than one device and you're switching devices on the same phone or same tablet, you need to get one of them away from you. Like don't even have it on your desk or in the same room. I've found that I have to go across my house. Like basically my house isn't that big, but I have to go across the house and not have them in the same room. And I do have one in my bedroom that stays in there for Eddie. And then I have one on my desk. I don't ever have an issue with them, but I don't have them right there together. Like I haven't just used one and then I'm just for some reason arbitrarily using the other one. Then she had a second device, a second phone, which was an older phone. And then she claimed that she had been having problems, but when we only had one Healy sitting here and my Heelys, all three of my 4 were sitting on my desk, but they should never use those. So I wasn't trying to find those, but with only one Healy sitting here, she had no problem going to the second device. So all of her issues were resolved by getting them out of the house. So if you guys have 2 Heelys, I know it sounds strange that you have to make them leave the house. You have to put your Healy in timeout. It's just something I would recommend. But and I told her go in and cancel those support tickets because there is actually nothing wrong with your Healy. One other thing is I also had this week, I had a person who thought their battery was defective, and I was like, because it was some kind of weird turn on, turn off thing. So even before I did all the battery instructions and the hard reset, okay, here's my little thing. Can you see me, Maria?
Yep.
Because I don't see myself, so I don't know what you guys see. Okay, so I always plug this into my computer USB. I do not put this into a block in the wall. But the lady that brought her Healy thought she was having a battery issue. I plugged her Healy into my computer while we were doing an appointment. Then after we finish the appointment, which is like an hour later, I take her Healy off my charger and I turn it on, connect it to her phone, and it's working perfectly. I don't know what that was about because she was convinced she had a bad battery, but it charged off my computer. So either she had a defective charging cord or it was her wall block that was going into the wall. I mean, it could have been that circuit, that outlet, I don't know. But sometimes, like I said, basic troubleshooting, try a different outlet, try a different computer USB, try not putting it into a wall outlet because the charging block wasn't necessarily meant for Healy, it was meant for something else. And I charge my Healys always on my computer. I do not plug them into the wall. I don't even know that you're not supposed to. I just never have, because I feel like if they wanted us to plug them into the wall, they would have given us a charging block with these. But Maria, do you know, like, for sure? Because I've never had a charging issue, and I know some people have.
I've never had a charging issue, although a person of mine did, and literally it just would not charge. It wouldn't turn on. He, sat and held the button for a hard reset for about 10 minutes solid, and it just never restarted. So he ended up sending it back and getting a new one. I would say probably in 20% of the cases, maybe 15% of the cases, it's actually the device. The rest of the time, it has something to do with the connection or the algorithm in the device itself, which we're learning more about now. One of the algorithms they talked about as far as the battery was turning on the Healy, so the green light's blinking, then turning it off. Do that again, turn the Healy on so the green light's blinking, and then turn it off, and then put it in the charger and allow it to charge. Turn it off, but then put it in the charger and allow it to charge until it's fully charged. That house somehow resets the algorithm of the battery. And I don't know if that helps in the actual charging too, or the connectivity, but I would say it can't hurt to try that if that's an issue. There are a lot of connect issues right now. I have told people to get in your car and go driving with your phone, go park somewhere and reestablish, see if you can get your Healy going in your car with different, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, whatever around you. And that has worked actually in a couple of times. So then I have to go, well, what's going on in your house? What other Bluetooth devices do you have? What's the interference? And it might have been something as simple as they left their husbands at home and they drove. I don't know. But there have been times, especially when we've done Healy show and tell parties, where if the prompt doesn't come up, connect to another Healy, because sometimes that prompt doesn't come up. So if that prompt doesn't come up, you pretty much have to leave the premises or take the other Healy somewhere, just like Gwen talked about. And so I have seen that happen.
Yeah, I think that that's a good point. I want to read Michael's email, because this is something that I think he is in my downline, but he's not in my direct downline. He's like 2 or 3 people down. And I don't think he's on the Tuesday calls, but I just want to tell you what happened with him, because it may help some of the rest of you. So he had a Healy that he was convinced was defective, but he never came. He lives about an hour from here, but he never came. I never could confirm that. But anyway, he never got a response to his support ticket, but he did just get a Healy show up in the mail. Like, there was never a response to the support ticket. Just like if you say your clip broke, I said my clip broke. I never got an email or nothing. I just got a little clip in the mail. So sometimes that happens where you put in a support ticket, you don't hear anything. But anyway, so he gets the new Healy. He's in a rural area, and and then he's convinced the new one's not working. So he says, this one has no programs. When I click on the programs, I get one blue page with one white circle, no words, blue. Oh, Mercury's retrograde. That's all I can think. The Analyze app picks up a new Healy with a new code, but gives me a message that it's not a registered Healy. Okay, that's the first email. So this was like Saturday, like a few days ago. So I told him, go to settings, do the updates, or connect to the Pink Dot app and wait long enough for it to search for updates, which can take up to an hour. So I always let people know it may not be immediate, so be patient. Like we talked about that last week. And I said, it's faster to go to settings and then do the update to get the program. So then he writes back, and he did all that. Yay, he got the programs, but it wasn't immediate. He had to wait for them. So that was good that, you know, he got them. But then the next thing that happened, and this goes into some of the prior calls too, is that, you know, some people that are not plugged in, like they don't even know what back office means. Don't know what it means to go to activate their Healy. They don't know where these things are. That's why it's so important that if you have Healy people, whether they're on our Tuesday calls or Maria's Wednesday calls or whatever calls, they need to plug in because it is kind of a new language. It's a whole new thing. But if you want to have that feeling of being supported and know where to go for things. So anyway, I explained that to him. And he said, and this is something I've heard before, but when he thought the programs weren't there, he wanted to go in and try to activate it. But since it was a replacement, he didn't have an order number. And what happens on the replacements is there's not an invoice or an order number. So you do have to do a support ticket. But anyway, that got bypassed. I just want to let you guys know that if you get a replacement, there is not an order number. So if you really did have to go to the activation process, you can't do it on that Healy Back Office. Okay, so then he goes, yay, I got the Healy app working and all the programs show up. I shut it all down and started over. This Healy does everything the last one would not do. So he's happy. But then he gets to the Blue Dot app and he says it's not working because it wants a master code from another device. And he has no idea what this is. So again, this is a person who wants his Healy desperately to work, but he doesn't know, even like, I'm not picking on him because he just doesn't know that at some point on his first Healy, he had to download the master key, but he doesn't know where that is. So then I did have to tell him, unless he wants to drive to my office and let me or Lindsay help him, he's going to have to go through the back office and request a new master key. This is a very normal email string that I get that has to do with a person who's either getting a replacement device or someone who just doesn't understand even the basic operations. So I am begging you guys, let people know about the YouTube channel, ask your downline to plug into the calls, because sometimes just the littlest thing can be frustrating where they need help, but they don't really even know what they're even requesting. Like they don't even understand. They did have a master key. They saved it. I cannot give that to them. I don't know where they saved it at. You know what I mean? So I thought that his email string over the weekend would be helpful for people that might be going through some of the same things, because it's just learning what a master key is, or learning where you saved it, or just some of the things that we all have went through, you know, through trial and error mostly. Do you want to add anything to that, Maria, on any part of that before I go into something else I wanted to share?
I'm just pulling up on the screen here if people can see it. If you type into your search bar, my device help, mydevicehelp.com, it pulls up Doc, Steve and Ken, and they're talking about all this. So if you click on when he's like Healy Pink Dive, let's just see if you can see this when I'm in here. When I scroll down here, all of it is given. So I need to put this better on ATP 123, but they have it so well laid out here that this is the pink dot. And so that's just in, you know, when you first go to that, I'll do this again. When you first come here and you're looking at the Healy deep dive into the pink app, then just come right down here in this top section and you just click show more and subscribe to this channel. So when they have another video that comes out, you are aware of what they've done. They're really good teachers and they're really fun and they're nice to listen to. It's not like you're going to be bored. You can always, you know, scoot ahead if you need to, but they're very good at educating. And so right here is where you click show more. And then there you go. There's everything you need. So let's go back. I can go in over here to the deep dive into the resonance. So the Blue Dot application. And it's going to be the same thing. You click right here and now see it's all laid out. They've timestamped everything. So this is just another really good resource that we have to assist. I mean, this is what Gwen and I were wanting to do for the longest time, is do 2 little minute videos of different things. But here they've done it and then they've timestamped where everything starts. So that can be really helpful. And they do go over some of the glitches. I would love for them to do, like here they're doing the Blue Dot trouble issues with the white screen that comes up with people. They don't have anything timestamped here, but it is an hour long. So you have to go through it. Hopefully they'll put that up because I haven't seen, and I don't see down if anybody has timestamped it. Nobody's put anything in here. So, but that would be a good one to listen to, because there may be some great tidbits in there of just other things that you've been thinking of or your team has been asking you about. So right now, these 3 videos, 2 of them are timestamped, 1 of them's not. Take the time to watch that 3rd one, because a lot of the connection issues that people are having probably are discussed in there. They
Can you
did
send
say,
me, Maria, can you send me those links so I can put them in the next newsletter?
yeah, or do you want me to send just the mydevicehelp.com? If you
Yeah.
just put mydevicehelp.com, and then that takes you here, even though it goes to YouTube. Again, if I just go ahead and just erase this out, and then, well, let me just click out of here. Well, then everything's covered. I'll just go
I got it. I wrote it down.
okay. So if I just go there, it takes me to their YouTube channel.
Yeah. So that's a YouTube search, not just a
Mm.
regular search.
Well, I just typed it into the address bar and it goes there. Actually, if I put it in here, because I think I tried that first and it didn't go there. My device help, unless I spelled it wrong the first time. I did put .com. Well, see, I can't see, it's not, when I put it into YouTube search, I can't find it. Isn't that interesting? Oh, here it is, way down here. So they've got it
Okay.
in.
Well, I'll find the channel and stick it in the email, because I think anything like that that's a tutorial, especially time-stamped, is something helpful.
Absolutely. And then I will also make sure that I have this on ATP 123 on both the pink dot and the blue dot. Haven't done that yet, but I'm slowly getting more stuff integrated into ATP 123. So.
Oh, okay. I wanted to, can you, unless you have something else to show that right there, I want to share a few outward signs of know that you have some issues, because I'm getting people asking health questions that have to do with this. And I wanted to kind of share a few ways, because I think sometimes it's not so obvious like what something could be going on, but can you make me the host and
I think you're a
I'm gonna-
co-host. Try.
I don't think so, but let's see. Oh, maybe. Oh, that's cool. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes,
Okay, and can you see me or just my screen?
just your screen. Well, I can see Gwen Foster. I don't see a picture of you, but I see Gwen Foster. So I see.
Okay. Okay, that's fine, because I want to show the camera, but also want to show something online. So there's a few things I just want to show here that have to do with some things that might help you guys. Like I'm going to pull up, I'm going to show you mine, but I'm also going to say these are nice little tools to have at home so you can see results like with your Healy. So one of them is a finger pulse oximeter, and these run between $15 to $35. And maybe someone's unmuted, Maria, if you can see. Anyway, so these are good little gadgets to measure your blood oxygen, which is also really measuring your circulation. And I have one on my desk, so I'll show you in a second. But the reason I think it's a good, useful at-home tool is because sometimes people say, well, I went to my doctor, and let's say you're doing circulatory Healy stuff, or you're doing stuff that has to do with healing, like after surgery, or you're doing vascular stuff, or you're doing diabetic neuropathy stuff. Like all these are common issues that it sounds like people are dealing with, a lot of people. But you still want to sometimes have at-home tools so you can see actual improvement. And this is just an easy thing you can buy at Walgreens or CVS, or you can buy online. And what I usually tell people, you see the picture here of it on their finger, and then you get a reading. Well, I recommend to my clients that they actually do this on both hands and both feet. So I tell people do it on one finger on both hands, like your first or middle finger, and then also your toes. And sometimes on toes, if you have like shellac, fingernail polish, it's hard to read through that because you have like a coating on your nails. But if your nails are just polished, or if they have, you can get to the meaty part, you can still test it. But these are really good indicators of like showing improvement. And so a number on the oxygen reading, like 98 to 100 is good. 95 to 98 is not so good. And under 95, especially under 90 is terrible. In fact, with COVID cases, they're saying if you had a number 90 or below, you should go to the hospital. So it's really a very small scale that's acceptable and everything else is like considered bad. But let's say you're at home and you're using the Healy on your lungs and some family member has like COPD or they have some other respiratory kind of issue and you're working on lungs, you're working on pure and release, you're working on the detox and the deep health applications, you're working on meridians or bioenergetic stuff related to lungs. You definitely want to have, I like to have measurement tools. And I have one myself, but I also use it with clients come in. And another at-home tool that's easy to have is a thermometer, an oral thermometer. That's a good like at-home self-assessment tool, especially for like thyroid, adrenals, stuff like that. Generally, as people's temperature is rising, it's also sometimes a measurement of what circulation's doing, what adrenals are doing, or what thyroid's doing. Another thing I like a lot, and I get these from Nature Sunshine. I like to have pH strips, and you can measure acidity and other, basic functions. But a lot of people sell pH strips; they're not expensive. But this is another good way to at home assess how things are going for you, whether your food improvements are changing, your alkaline water is helpful, or maybe you're buying alkaline water and when you test it with pH strips, it's not alkaline. That actually happens a lot. I've tested smart water that was not alkaline. And so people are paying a premium for pH high alkaline water, but it's not really helping. A little bit of that kind of stuff we talked about, like in the basic workshop. I wanted to also show you a few things on my phone before I go back to the camera. So one other thing, and this was like in a newsletter that I just sent out about cardiovascular health, but I want you to understand what this means, that it changes just like your tongue changes. I've seen some pretty incredible tongue changes over the years just by doing things to improve your health. But this is actually a really good example right here, this first one. That is a sign of cardiovascular health issues. You see that line or that crease that's there in the earlobe, and it's always like right where you would pierce your ear. That line is a sign of cardiovascular issues. And this is well documented even with the National Institute of Health. This is a Hannah Kroger thing, but that's another.
Wait a minute. Zoom back in. Look at the hair there.
Yeah.
Because that's a sign too, isn't it?
Yeah. Hair in the ears is a sign. The earlobe crease is a sign. Purple visible veins on your nose and your ankles is a sign. This will actually change as your heart health gets better. Your earlobe creases would go away. So what I want you guys to do is look at, all of you guys have Heelys. So look at yourself in the mirror, maybe even take a picture of your earlobe and then run like the circulation programs and the things that have to do with circulation. And then note, keep looking at your ears, what they're doing. Ears have that. This has to do with hydration also, but because of the cardiovascular part and low oxygen levels. So there's lots of pictures on the internet, plus a lot of resources that you'll find. Like this is a really bad case of where you can see just how deep that is. This is a person who has definitely on blood pressure and heart medications. There's no way that this is like unknown. But sometimes what you'll see, like I had a case today that was a guy in Italy, and he was 24 years old, and he was showing up like digitalis and other remedies that had to do with cardiovascular health. So you can, just look at, people's ears and see if they have, the more pronounced the creases, the more serious of a cardiovascular risk you have. Like that one's not too bad, but if there's any crease, you need to work on this. And I'm telling you guys, so you can, like you may be really focused on weight loss, or you may be really focused on something else like skin or mood, but this to me is super important. So if you have this, if you have it in both ears, you have more of a risk of a heart attack or stroke than having it in one ear. But if you have it in one ear, you still have a risk over having this at all. So that's one thing I wanted to say. And then another thing that some people have that is a sign of oxygen deprivation, which you would have never maybe associated with this. I had a most amazing story this week that I already shared with Maria. But this client came in, she had no lung symptoms, not a cough, not asthma, no nothing, but she had clubbed fingernails. And this is like the second time I've heard this. I've seen this, but a clubbed fingernail means that your fingernails are curving. Well, those are like, that's like exaggerated kind of, but that's how her fingernails look. But this is another example. So your fingernails aren't straight anymore. You see, here's a really good example. Instead of the surface of your fingernails being straight, they start curving. This is a sign of oxygen deprivation. And this is a sign of issues that are probably lung, but also cardiovascular. This lady's case was amazing because just because of her fingernails, they sent her to a pulmonologist and she got diagnosed with stage 3 lung cancer in both lungs. And she had no outward signs of lung anything. And I thought that was pretty incredible for the doctor to figure that out. Here's another great picture. You see, sometimes it's not so pronounced, but just that it's a sign of oxygen deprivation. And
You have all of us looking at our nails right now. We're all examining our nails. Thanks, Gwen.
But I like outward signs because you won't forget it. You'll see this and you'll go, oh, this person needs oxygen. This person needs lung and circulation support. But I'll tell you what happened with her because it was a really incredible situation is, and this was a live person, so I could see her. She was here. She had, some people have seen this with people that either have cardiovascular disease or diabetes, or sometimes even what they call diabetic neuropathy. But she had kind of like a thickened skin on her legs, and her legs were discolored on the lower half, like a reddish purple, but around her ankles and feet, her skin was brown. So she had like white legs at the top and then reddish purple and then brown. And her skin texture of her legs was like leather. And I've seen this a lot with cardiovascular people. So if your legs are changing, the skin elasticity is changing, that's also a sign. But anyway, what happened was I put my finger pulse thing. Okay, now I can go back to not showing my screen. I put my finger pulse thing. So I have mine right here. And my oxygen is always bad. It's weird because let's see. Mine's bad because of past carbon monoxide poisoning. So my numbers are always like 95, which isn't great, but I do things to keep it up. So I have good energy. But if your oxygen numbers are low, you'll have brain fog, poor memory, you'll have like poor stamina, like low energy. So you just like, let me try to do this where I can hold this. I couldn't find my other phone stand, but basically you stick it on your finger and you turn it on and it takes a reading. I'm not shooting the bird at anybody, so don't get offended. See what my number is, 96. So see, that's not good. Like good is 98 to 100. So if your number is 96, you should be doing something for oxygen and getting your oxygen numbers up, okay, which is a constant thing for me since having carbon monoxide poisoning. So her number on her hands was in the low 90s. The number though on her feet, one foot was 86, which is terrible, and the other one was 66. Okay, so that's like no blood flow to the leg whatsoever. It's important to get that foot reading though, because sometimes doctors will say, oh, your cardiovascular, they literally have told this woman there's nothing wrong with her cardiovascular system. I should have started with that. Okay, there's definitely something wrong when your number is a 66 and your legs are purple and the skin has changed like pigmentation. Okay, that's just like asinine. But anyway, so her number was a 66. So you guys, if you took the other workshops with Maria and I, I'm a fan of the blood clot board. So while she was sitting here, because she had flip-flops on, she had her foot on the blood clot board for an hour, like while we were doing the appointment. So I did all the assessment first, put her foot on the blood clot board. She didn't move it. She didn't rub it. We didn't do no technique, nothing. An hour later, I measured that same toe and that number went up 20 points. I told Maria, I have never, ever even thought of doing that before. And it was just like one of those moments. But for your blood oxygen levels to improve 20 points in 1 hour is unheard of. Like, I don't even know what, I've never even done that before and after like a Beamer session or a Healy session. So I don't really know. But anyway, my point is you want to have some like self-assessment tools. That's really my point. You want to have like one of these. They're inexpensive. They're easy to use. You want to have a thermometer. You want to have some pH strips. You want to be able to measure your results, because this is what happens sometimes, like with my clients, which are the same people as like Healy people, is, you know, and I know this happens with Maria too. You see the person or talk to them 2 or 3 weeks later, and you're like, well, how are you feeling? You know, how are things going? Do you feel better? And they're like, I don't know. I don't know if I really noticed any difference. And sometimes it's funny because like I'll have a note, like here's like my client notes for the guy in Italy. Just going to show them real quick. It's a page. It's a whole page of stuff wrong. And then, but when you ask them, they'll say, I don't know. I don't really know if I feel anything, you know? And so, but then when I go back to, well, you had brain fog. How's that? Oh, I think that's gone. Well, okay, how's your energy? Before you said it was a 1 or 2. Oh yeah, that's like a 5 or 6 now. You know, so when you really go through their list of what their agonies are, and if you really, like if you're working with people with Healy, you want to have some kind of assessment method, like either notes or a measurement, like a number, their temperature, their pH. You want to have some kind of way, or give them a number scale on, you know, sleep, energy, brain processing, comprehension, memory, you know, whatever. But you want to have something that you can go back to, because I swear to goodness, people have amnesia when it comes to how they're feeling, and it's almost like they have the story of, oh, I just always feel the same. Nothing ever matters. But when you really like dig into it, you start seeing that, oh, this is better. Oh, this is better. Oh, this is better. And I have heard some great, you know, you guys have too, heard some great Healy testimonies, but sometimes it's just about like also the accountability, or having a measurement tool that's not expensive. And these kind of measurement tools like thermometers, pregnancy test, this oxygen thing, or they're called CLIA waived. And CLIA waived means they're diagnostic in their nature. Like a pregnancy test, that's what it does. It tells you if you're pregnant or not. So these are acceptable for anyone to use. There's not like you have to have an MD degree to measure someone's oxygen levels or take their temperature. CLIA means that the nature of that test is for that purpose. So anyway, I just wanted to share that because it's been on my mind lately that a lot of Healy people are saying to me, well, I don't really know if I notice anything, or I don't know if I really feel anything. A lot of people say they do, but maybe they don't in every area. And so, Maria, do you have any tests or things that you like to use that are in addition to those?
Well, I like my DPA machine, my heart variability machine, since we're talking about heart month and stuff. And that one measures the age of your veins and arteries and the age of your heart. So I've had 2 people in all of the tests I've done where the heart showed that there was an issue, and both of those had their thyroid radiated at some point when they were younger. But other than that, I'll see sometimes indications of hypothyroid in the actual heartbeat, but the majority of the time, the heart's not the issue, it's the veins and arteries. And so anything you can do to be proactive, you know, prevention with intention. That's what we preach. And you can't wait until all of a sudden you've got chest pains. You can't wait until all of a sudden you can't make it up the stairs without breathing. You can't wait for that anymore. We're too toxic of a society. We have to be doing things now while we're feeling good. And while we're young, the younger the better, you know, start on that stuff. I take the Cardio for Life every day. And if I feel that there's any issues at all, I'm taking 2 to 3 scoops a day instead of just 1, instead of just my maintenance. So our body talks to us in thoughts and in feelings. And if you've got something going on in either one, then you need to be paying attention. I wanted to tell you, Gwen, that you had sent me that blood clot board. And I had Gretchen in, and I was showing it to her, and she said, "Oh my gosh, my friend is in the hospital with blood clots in her lungs and in her lower legs, and they're just hoping they can get her through the night." And I got, "Oh, well, Gwen sent this to you then." So I gave it to her so that she could take it. And so she was going to have her put it on her chest. I think it said for 10 minutes, something like that. So it'll be really interesting. That'll be a great testimonial for that, because she's in the hospital and it's just a block. So nobody's going to question anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was so thankful that it literally showed up while Gretchen was here. So it's a godsendance for sure. Definitely.
May I
Yeah.
ask a question?
Yes.
What time did this meeting start?
It
This-
started at, yeah, go ahead. 5 Central.
5 Central. Okay, I got on late. I have to make note, this is every week at this time.
Mhm.
I want to ask about the blood clot board. How much is that?
I think it's $24. It's either 24
I
or
have
30.
to get one because I had cancer surgery like 20 years ago, and I had blown a vein in my leg, or the main one. And so I have DVT. And so I think that blood board I need that badly because the
Yeah,
vein
for
is bad.
deep vein thrombosis, which is what DVT is, or thrombocytopenia, or just blood clots, or when people get like even the like lumps in their groin that may be more lymph, it works for that too. But a goose egg, a concussion, anything that would be like a concussion and the recovery of a concussion, because what you're doing, I remember one time I was in the kitchen and my cabinet was open and I was coming up from a stoop position, and man, I clocked myself. I mean, I don't know how hard I hit that cabinet, but I nearly knocked myself out. And it went I thought it was bleeding. I mean, it hurt so bad, and it immediately swelled up. Like it looked like, it didn't look so bad in the mirror, but the way it felt was it was like this big. And I remember taking the blood clot board and putting it, I've told the story once before, but I took an ace bandage and wrapped it around my head. So I'm sitting there in the kitchen with this attached to my head. My husband was like, "What are you doing now?" Anyway, I remember an hour later, because I look like a hippie with a headband on with this big thing here. And an hour later, I took
We
it
want to
off.
see that someday. You're just going to have to take a picture so that we can post it.
Yeah, purposely don't allow cameras in my house. But anyway, so an hour later after dinner, I took it off. And do you know, it felt like it never happened. There was no goose egg. My daughters looked and there was like no bruising. It just was like amazing. And I had a lady in Boulder tell me one time that an elderly lady, she had stepped on a curb, but kind of misjudged and ended up falling and hitting her head on the concrete. And she had this huge goose egg on her head. And anyway, the same thing, she put the blood clot board and she was just like gently massaging it. And just within a short amount of time, the swelling and everything had went back to normal. So anyway, it's magnets, it's ground magnets and ground dried molasses is what's inside of this. And the combination of those two things safely breaks up blood clots. And, this is where I think modern medicine is kind of leaving us behind, because sometimes I get clients who will say they went to the doctor and the doctor says, like this lady on this, the other day said her cardiovascular system was fine. And I'm like, in whose world is she fine? I mean, that's just crazy. And what they'll do is they'll check maybe a certain area, like maybe they'll do an ultrasound of the carotid arteries, which is like right here. And they'll say, "Oh, you're good." Well, that's just of the carotid arteries. They didn't check the other veins in your body. And then I had another lady, by the way, last week. I mean, this is why I had so many stories this week, is last week I had a lady on Thursday that had 4 veins from, the varicose veins, but 4 of those veins removed from each leg. And it always makes me go crazy, because I'm like, who thinks that's a good idea to remove your veins? And she said,
that
"Oh,
done too.
doctor said," that's what they tell you, but the doctor said the body will just, reroute. And I'm like, no, the body doesn't grow new veins when you're 60 years old. What it happens is that blood flow is now completely gone. And she said, well, then I said that, and she said, oh, well, they said that there was no blood flow through them anyway. So they're really no point except ugly because they're varicose veins.
That's
But
what
you
happened.
know, I think the solution is just to yank things out, is because now let's say you have 8 veins going to your feet, and now you have 4, and the 4 that are left are probably in as bad of shape as the 4 that were removed. So now you just have less blood flow, and you're not going to get those veins back. So vein removal surgery for the sake of beauty is, in my opinion, not a good idea.
I did not have veins removed. I had those injections, but since I didn't wear the stockings constantly, I have a problem now, and I have big, purple feet almost around my ankles and everything. It's horrible.
Yeah, you definitely want a blood clot board. So anyone that wants one, you can contact me, and then I'll ship. They're like, $30 with postage, and they are, are awesome. And I'm not doing this to sell blood clot boards. I'm just saying you want to have tools at
No, I
home.
definitely
You
want
use-
one. I wish I
they
had it in
really-
the hospital 20 years ago.
Yeah, but you want to have these tools to help yourself and help others. You run the Healy circulation programs was real the point. And my bigger point was to have a measurement tool, measure that circulation in your toes, because most people in hospitals only do this on one hand, on one finger, and that's not okay. You need to do both hands, both feet. And like I said, if you have that thick shellac toenail polish, it may say unable to read. So then either you need to do it without nail polish on one toe, or you need to kind of do it I can't do it on my feet right now, but you do it sideways or do it upside down to where it's measuring the toe pad, because it'll still measure the reading on, whatever you have going on. But anyway, this lady with the double lung cancer and the curved fingernails, even though she has no symptoms whatsoever, the lack of oxygen is completely being ignored, because as soon as she got into the cancer system, they're focusing on, chemo and radiation. And she's been on 10 months of chemo and radiation with no change to her cancer, but no one is addressing the circulation issues, the low oxygen issues, all the things that, we talked about. But anyway, use that knowledge and those basic testing things that you have access to, that you can buy at any pharmacy, and then use the programs on Healy that make sense for that. That's really what I want. I don't want, Maria and I's point is to empower you guys, so that you don't need us. You have the ways to do this for yourself.
So
Maria, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. So what other way do you want to go? Does anyone have any technical questions, or?
could I
Somebody
ask one more question?
Oh, yeah.
Where do you get that? And what is it exactly called? That machine that measures the oxygen?
It's called a finger pulse oximeter. So it's just type in, well, if you go to Walgreens, they're usually right there at the register in the pharmacy department. So, and I bought this one recent. I had one, but I couldn't find it, but I bought this one recently and it was on sale for $24. And it comes with the battery, and it comes in like a little box, but finger pulse oximeter. So it's OXI and then meter.
Okay. And I have a bump in my thumbnail. That means something's deeper wrong, right?
The bump in there might mean a lot of things. If it's not, it's the curvature that means low oxygen. Can I see your fingernail up to the camera? I don't know if I'll be able to see it.
Can you put it sideways so that you can see how it's like, put it up like?
You have
There
to
we go.
camera activates.
It's not doing it, huh?
I can't really, oh, now I can. That could be like a little cyst in that finger and that thumb, like under the
Look at
nail.
them, both thumbs, both of them.
Both of them.
I mean, there's a lot of things that the fingernails tell us. Like another thing I noticed with you, you do have good ridges. So like you see, if you want to see your fingernails, like especially it's noticeable on your thumbs, like if you see it, your thumb, you see the nice ridge at the bottom. But some people that don't have that, that's like, can be a sign of a circulatory issue. Also, if they're pale, like instead of pink, you have like a white color. But if there's cracks, it's usually candida. If you see ridges, it's usually mineral deficiency. If you see white spots, it's usually a zinc deficiency sign. If your fingers peel and crack easily, it's usually also nutritional issues or gut issues. So, there's a lot of these things you can look up on the internet, like that bump in your fingernail, you can look up, or you can look up if you have cracks in your tongue or the crease in your earlobe. Everything on the body, especially more in Chinese medicine, is a sign of what's going on inside.
Right. I have a crack in my tongue too.
Yeah, the crack in the tongue, depending on where the crack is, can mean circulation as well, but it can also mean another organ depending on where it is. Now, see, that right there would also be circulation. But what's amazing about the tongue is that in a month, your tongue can look completely different.
So also the meridian of the thumb then would be lung. So again, we're looking at the whole circulatory system from a standpoint of getting oxygen into the blood. So there could be some lung issues, and the emotion for that is longstanding grief. So then you just keep, you keep rabbit holing down through everything until you keep finding what you need to do.
Yeah, and that by the way, another sign is the guy in Italy. He had young for heart issues, but his third molar on both sides was having problems, and those teeth are also connected to heart. So your lower molars, what's called the third molar, if you're having problems there, that tooth has been removed, that can also be a heart sign or symptom or signal.
Right. So what I tell all of my people is get a pulse oximeter, the one that Gwen just showed. Go get a glucose monitor. Just spend the money on the little the blood sticks, the sticks, whatever they call them, and then get even just a wrist blood pressure cuff. We need to have these diagnostic tools at home for us, especially if this country goes to socialized medicine. We need to have those things in our medicine cabinet. That needs to be there before aspirin. That needs to be there so that we can be testing every single day what's going on with us, or at least once a week. We can become our own physician. But if we go to that place where we can't get in to see the doctor really quick, we're going to need to be already doing that, not only for us, but making sure that our family and friends also have those resources and know about it. You don't have to go to the doctor to get your blood pressure checked. You can start monitoring it every single day and find out, if the food you ate last night are, kicking you up in the morning. Same with the blood sugar. So we just need to be doing those kind of things all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an option anymore. Yeah, Heather.
Thank you.
So I've got a question as far as when you're talking about getting a thermometer and body temperature. I always am like 96.1 constantly. So when I wasn't feeling well, they said, oh, your temperature, my body temperature was like 98.5. And I was like, to me, that's temperature. Like I have a temperature and I wasn't feeling well. Is that true? Like, first of all, why am I so low? And is that normal? And can my Healy help with that? Is that like my adrenals and like running this stuff? Will that improve?
It's
It's
thyroid.
supposed to be 98.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 98. And if it's low, it's a very direct sign that the thyroid and the adrenals are needing support. And those are directly affected to blood pressure and blood sugar. So sometimes too, when that's low, people will tend to be hypoglycemic and then turn to insulin resistance. People will have low blood pressure, but low blood pressure, doctors are happy with low blood pressure, but low blood pressure also usually equals fatigue. So
Very low blood pressure too.
Exactly.
Which can be a B vitamin, which can be a B complex or a B vitamin deficiency. So, and the B's directly support the adrenals. So you kind of start seeing you've got all of this, and then you have to look at your liver too, because your liver converts and metabolizes hormones. So it converts T4 to T3 for your thyroid.
Yeah, because my Healy sometimes is popping up adrenal, but it's not all the time. So it's really, it's interesting, the different analysis, like when I do it, what's popping. So I was just curious.
Yeah. So just like what Maria said, sometimes it's like nutrition. People who skip breakfast are usually adrenal people. People who want crunchy, salty snacks, it's adrenal. People a lot of times with sleep issues, that can be thyroid or adrenal, but but they start taking stuff to sleep instead of getting to the underlying cause. But if your temperature is especially under 97, but even in the 97s, if it's under 98, then like at 96.1, a temperature is at 98.6. This was another thing that I was about to say, that Maria, when she was saying about the glucose things, those are not expensive anymore, and you don't need a prescription to buy those at Walgreens. Watch for them to go on sale, because they do go on sale. But you want to also know what your baseline temperature is and your baseline oxygen is, because at 96.1, you do have a fever at 98. Like that, then, but if the doctor doesn't know what your norm is, they're like, nope, you're fine, you don't have a fever. But if they know that your norm is 96, then 99 is a 3-degree fever, which should get their attention. And I had a situation when I was living in Colorado, and this was about the time I was figuring out I had carbon monoxide poisoning. But, I knew what my oxygen levels were, and I knew that they were in the 90 to 95 range. But every once in a while, I would just sink. I would just be like, it's just like someone takes the wind out of you. And I remember I went to a sauna, like a place where you just go sweat. It's like a detox place. And after that, I really felt like I was having a heart attack. And that's a bad thing if you've had carbon monoxide poisoning, is to sweat, because it will mimic a heart attack. Well, thank God I knew what my normal oxygen was, because it had dropped like 80, in the low 80s. And I knew that I did this. I created this problem through sauna, which that's when everything was kind of sorting itself out. But I knew my oxygen dropped, and that wasn't normal. But, if you go to the doctor or hospital and they're like running all these tests, they're not going to find anything wrong with me. Like, there would have been no point actually going to the hospital, because they're going to say, oh, your oxygen's low. Okay, well, whatever. But that's why you need to know that baseline, because it's not always low. Something made it low. Well, they're never going to agree that it's because I went and sweat all day. They're going to go, that's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. But it's those things that you guys can sort out when you know what's normal. So like when you feel bad, take your oxygen again, take your blood pressure, take your glucose, because something just changed. And you can start being able to kind of not diagnose, but basically, diagnose yourself. If every time you feel bad, your blood sugar spiked, then that should be a clue for you. And that's where I would use the Healy then, is on the kidneys, the pancreas, making some dietary changes. So some of it, not that you have to have a medical degree to figure this out, but sometimes you just need a little bit of guidance on, like some basic parameters.
So I'm in favor of intermittent fasting. Brittany wants to know how we feel about that. I think it can provide an amazing reset. It's interesting because my daughter was researching the Mediterranean diet, and she came to me one day. She goes, did you know that the Mediterranean people fast 144 days out of the year? And I'm like, what? And she said, yeah. She goes, they fast 144 days out of the year. Not at one time. Obviously, they, circle it around. But does the book, The Mediterranean Diet for America, ever say anything about intermittent fasting? No. It just says eat all the oils and all the olives and whatever you want. But that's part of their culture, is to fast. So I think it's definitely not given enough attention, for sure. What about the crease? What if the crease coming from the side of the ear, connecting to the head, but it doesn't go all the way across the earlobe?
If it's a partial, little line, it's like a beginning of a problem. The ones that you should be really worried about are the ones that connect to the bottom of the ear opening and go all the way to the edge of the ear. Those are like definitely more pronounced. Sometimes on women, what I see, especially younger women, is you'll just see like a line. It's not like a deep crease. It's not like that old man picture that I showed you, which it looks like an old man. But when you get those like deep,
I hope so, with the hair. I hope that's an old man.
I hope it's a man, not an old woman. I'll be embarrassed. But anyway, when you see these like deep things, that's bad. That's they're already on 8 blood pressure medications. Like, there's just no doubt. But when they're beginning signs, it just looks like a line, and then the line becomes deeper and more all the way across, and then it becomes more of a what am I trying to say? It's not a line anymore. It's actually a crease. It looks like, or sometimes it looks like a fold. It looks like your ear's been folded for a
Right.
long period of time, and it looks like you slept on it wrong, and there's a fold. So it can look like a fold also, but that's not normal.
Right. Okay, so somebody wants to know how to change their email with Healy, and I just learned how to do this. So I
Yay.
think I know, right? I was so excited. So I'm going to share. Da-da-da-da. Okay, so can you see a back office on Healy right now?
Yes.
Okay, this is going to be so cool. This is going to blow you away because you didn't even know it was here. I didn't know it was here until yesterday. Okay, so you log into your back office and you go to the shop. So you click on shop, and I am in the Edge. So hopefully Healy Edge, or not Healy Edge, Microsoft Edge. So hopefully it'll take me there. If not, we're going to have to do this on another call. Okay, so when you get here, then you're going to click your name up here, and you're going to hit dashboard. Okay, so you can see that I'm in the shop. Make sure your name is at the top. Click on dashboard. This is so exciting. And then make sure your name is still up here, but you're going to come down here to account details. Now watch this. Now, Gwen, if we would have known this, oh my gosh, this is where you change your password.
Our email she wanted
I mean,
to
your
know.
email. I mean, your email. You change your email and you can change your password here. That's
But
where
that
you change.
wasn't there, was it?
What's that?
That wasn't always there.
I never clicked on account details in here before, so I don't know. I've gone to my back
Yeah.
office and tried to change it in profile, and I can't change it there, but I never knew this existed.
Yes, it's been there for a long time. Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Didn't
I
know.
went through hell and hot water to get my email changed.
You did.
No
You
one
did.
ever said I could have done it in the back office.
Well, I had a problem with the client and we needed to go in and change the email. That's the only reason I know.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Because I had the thing where I entered the email wrong. And so I quick put in a support ticket right when I put that person in it, and they changed it really quick, but I could have done it here and didn't even know it. So that's where you go. And then if you look up here, you can go to the www.healy.shop/enus.-us myhealy/edit-account. So if you need to make a note of that, you can just go straight there and it'll take you once you're in your shop. So anyway, thought this was very cool.
Very cool. Yes.
Mhm.
Does this work when you are, like, say you buy a unit and then you sell it to someone else, you can change the whole thing there? Like for them to have their unit and then I have mine?
So you're saying they are
If I buy
that doesn't
one,
change this. It doesn't change the serial number. The serial
Okay.
number is going to be dedicated to the account that it was purchased under.
okay.
So that would be the only caveat to that. Daylight, did you have a question? Because your hand was up.
I do. I'm having difficulty with information getting to be consistent between my iPhone and my iPad. When I used to have the ability to share all my clients on both, no matter where I sign them up from. But now when I sign somebody up on my iPhone, it doesn't show up on my iPad. When I sign someone up on my iPad, it doesn't show up on my iPhone. It's like it's not grabbing the cloud. I don't know what's going on, but I have to go to the device I sign somebody up on because the other one doesn't have it. And the other thing is that under the digital nutrition, on my iPhone, there are like 4 nutritional mixtures. On my iPad, there's 6.
Yeah, so that's what they're switching to is the new DNA app that will be $67 and 40 PV instead of $95 and 50 PV. So it looks as though your DNA is showing up, but It's not like it's a different device. Is it the same? Is it your
It's the-
free device, or is it a secondary device? A Healy. Is it a secondary Healy, or is it the same Healy on two different devices?
It's the same Healy on two different devices.
Doesn't make sense.
I know, it doesn't.
Interesting.
I know. It's a pain
Because
in
you're accessing the cloud for that particular
I know. for
serial
the
number.
For the clients. Yeah, right. And it shouldn't matter even if I have two different devices, right? If they're both assigned to me.
Right. No, they're both assigned to you. That's pretty amazing. So do you have all your other files on your iPad? Is everything else there?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have lots of, yeah, I have a lot of other things that,
What about your
that-
client lists and all of that? Are those the same?
well, that's what I'm talking about, my client list. No,
Oh, I
No,
thought you
my
meant I thought you meant the DNA app and everything is different in your page, but
I did. Those are two different.
two different issues. Okay, but they're both with your iPad.
No, they're both with the iPhone and the iPad. They don't match. The client list on my iPhone.
So that client list in your Blue app is different on your iPhone.
Right. Well,
And-
they both used to be the same on my iPad and my iPhone. Then this has probably been going on for 3 months. When I add somebody on my iPhone, it doesn't show my iPad. When I add somebody on my iPad, it doesn't show on my iPhone. So I have to look to see which device, if I'm working with a client, that I put them in on.
Wow.
It's not sharing it.
That
I
is-
can offer something that happened to me, if it's okay for me to share.
Yeah, please do.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, I've had some people that have had that problem, and I myself had that problem. And I don't even know why this didn't occur to me, but I went back to my original Healy on my Blue app on my phone and synced it to the cloud, because I hadn't done that for a while, because it takes a little time and I get annoyed and impatient and I stop doing it. So once it's synced to the cloud, then I go to my iPad, my tablet, and then I say, it says activate or import your master key so it can update to what is current right now. And if I hit activate with existing master key, then you wait a moment and you go to your phone, and it tells you exactly what to do. It tells you exactly what to do, and you have to go to your controls and your settings.
Where are these instructions? Are they in at the bottom of the? Because when you put a client in, you sync it to the cloud. That's an automatic, or you lose it.
Yeah, but it sounds like your two devices are not talking to each other. So the first step would be to sync everything that you've got up to the cloud.
Nothing
so
is
that
nothing.
it's,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I said you're not saying sync the devices. You're saying make sure that you have each device synced to the cloud so that each device, whatever you've been running on there, actually gets up there. That makes sense.
Yeah, and then for me, I had to import or activate my master key on my tablet. And once I did that, then everything was the same. It matched each other. And it's kind of weird German instructions, to be honest with you. As an American, I'm like, what the heck do they mean? But then I took it exactly word for word what they said. And I went to my phone and I went into controls, and then I hit the setting that it said to hit, which I wish I could regurgitate for you right now, but it'll tell you that. And then you hit that and do exactly what it says, and it will sync the two devices to each other so that they're together.
Yeah. Okay. So you go under settings, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And it says edit cloud profile. I don't know what that is. Change password. Okay.
Yeah. Let me pull mine up and run through it real quick. If I can get the actual verbiage, I know that would help you the most. So excuse me for a moment. Love you, Daylan.
It's telling me there's a sync in progress right now.
Ooh, wonderful.
Well, it says 3%, and it has said 3% since I looked at it.
Yeah,
So
it takes,
maybe it's
mine does
maybe
3% forever, and then it does 10% forever, and then suddenly it goes to 100 like in 3 minutes. But that 3% and 10% on mine, it also takes a long time. I
okay.
don't know
Well,
why.
maybe it's been doing this for 3 months.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you do have to sit still long enough for it to finish up, otherwise it won't.
Okay, okay, and now I see we have a backup master key. So
Yeah.
I'm at iPhone right now, but then I'll hang out for a while and see if it ever changes. But
Okay.
I will go to my iPad and do the update the master key. That maybe that's going to do it because it's in the cloud under that master key number. So thank you so much.
Exactly. You're
Thank you.
welcome. Love you.
Thank
Oh.
you. You guys are awesome. You should just do a show. Yay. Okay, so Brittany wants to know, how do I activate my free resonance that I just earned on my last promotion? Brittany, that depends on how you're going to use it. My free device, my free resonance, I've never activated the Blue app because that is something that I hand out to people to allow them to experience all of the programs. Plus I have the digital nutrition, so they get that as well. They can experience it. So I have them just download the Pink app, and that's how I use my free resonance. If your free resonance is going to be used as another resonance Blue Dot app, then you're probably going to have a different device. It's really hard to try to do it on the same one. Get a different device, and then you will have to email your master key and open it up in that device. Open it up, download, save it to an internal file on that device, whether it's an iPad or whether it's another phone. Then when you go in and open up your Blue Dot app, and you have your Healy on and you open up your Blue Dot app, then it will ask you to sync. And then when it asks for the master key, it'll already be looking for it, and that should work. So there are a lot of videos on that. I don't know that on the My Device help in that Blue Dot app one, if Ken and Steve go over that. I haven't looked in all of the timestamps to find out if they look at uploading, but there are a lot of videos now of people showing you how to do that. Because I want to loan it out. I have 3HH to loan it as well. Yeah, I don't ever have them download the Blue app. It's too much of a learning curve. And unless you have somebody who's really, really high tech and they can do that, and they kind of used that before, it can turn them off into purchasing. So I don't even do the Blue app for people that I'm loaning it out to. I just do the Pink app. That's enough of a learning curve for people. But if they can figure out how to do that, then they come back and then you can show them how the resonance works. They potentially will want more, but I have found that it's a little overwhelming. So Daylight, did you have another question, or did you just not lower your hand?
I just didn't lower my hand.
Okay, all right. Marilee, you have a question. Marilee, you're muted. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, hello.
There you go. Hello. Now you can start over. Sorry.
Okay, I can't be on the call tomorrow night, or I would have saved this. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And I'm trying to get my third Healy sold, right? And they all have to be under different names, right? New names.
New names, new customer, new. Yes.
Okay, so my nephew wants one, and I can certainly provide his email and password, but I want to pay for it. Is that gonna work or not? Does it have to be his credit card?
No, it can be your credit card. Are you going to have him come in as a customer, or are you going to have him sign up?
Sign up.
Okay, so then when you go into the back office, you know what? Let me just share my screen because somebody else wanted to know about this anyway. So let's just do this really
Okay,
quick.
because I've got my screen up ready to do whatever you tell me to do. So
Okay, first off, before we get there, someone else wants to show again how you change the email. So here you are in your back office. You've gotten in there, and then you're going to click up here on your name, and you're going to hit my data. I'm sorry. First off, sorry, you go to shop. Erase what you just wrote. Get to your back office and go to shop. Okay, so here's your name. Now when you're in your shop, you're going to click dashboard. And then down here at the bottom, you're going to click account details. And there's where you would change your email address. Okay, so those are the steps you take for that. Okay, so Marilee, let's go back to you. I'm going to go back to the dashboard. Let's go back this way. Actually, we want your shop. You're going to, you said he does want to sign up or he wants to be a customer? Sorry.
Customer.
He wants to be a customer. Okay, so you're going to go to healyworld.net/en/partner. And what is your username?
My username?
Uh-huh.
My username is Marilee Short. MARILEESHORT.
Okay, so this is what you're going to type in. This is what you're going to type
Okay.
into your address bar. Not your Google search, but your actual address bar.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So now when you go here, you're basically sending somebody to your website.
Right.
So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so there is your website and it doesn't have you up here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit shop. And what I want to see is if your name changes over here.
Okay.
Maria, I have a question regarding that.
Sure.
But is that maybe because I'm in there too right now?
No, let's just see where this goes. Yes,
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay, I had a friend that actually bought the Healy for somebody else under her credit card. And even though they have the shipping address as different, it went to the credit card owner address.
Did they change it in the shopping cart, the billing address and the shipping address? They clicked so they
They
were both
did.
different?
They did, and it still went to the owner of the credit card. So I don't know if that's been fixed or what, but I just wanted to mention that.
So maybe that link isn't. Let's just go partner. Let's go here. Maybe I'm doing the partner. Let me just do this because I want to get these cookies gone because I keep going back to my mom's. Someday I'm going to have my mom on here so you can all see who my mom is. Cookies.
Make
Let's
it
get her. I told her that and she was like, what? I'm like, yep, they all want to know who my mom is.
We want to see mama.
I want to see mama. Okay. All right. Let's try this again. Let's go here and go to Marilee Short. It says EN-US. That may be what I was missing, but we'll see. No, this page doesn't exist. That's kind of interesting. Let me do this and put partner in here.
Huh.
Okay, still there's no login here. Is anybody having success going to their back off or to their actual website and sending people? I personally have not done that because I feel that these lines are not super strong. See, it's taking me back to my mom again.
Maria, that's not worked for me. I don't really recommend people do that.
I don't either, since it's still free to sign people up. Marilee, what I would do is I would
Yeah.
sign your nephew up as I would go into your back office, and then I would go into register new partner and get him in there. And then you go into his shop, you go into his back office, and then you shop as if you're him, you know, making his own sale. Does that make sense to you?
I have never done that, but I can certainly give it a try. I just, so I will have to register him.
Yep. I'm just going to, let me go there really quick.
I was just going to have him go into marileeshort.now.site.home. That's what
gonna, yeah. And that's going to take him, to your to a landing page. Does that take you to your website?
I don't know about a website, but it takes me to my landing page and you're allowed to go down and shop.
Okay, so tell me what that is again.
It's merrily.now.site/home. Yep.
So that's to sign up. Where's to shop now? Let's see where it takes you.
That's cool.
Yeah, I have one too, Maria. I think it's Maria.Boldry or mariaboldry.now to see that's still taking me to my mom's shop. So there's still cookies here that are, let me go. Oh, I'll have to do an incognito.
Okay, so what if mine?
When you do it, where does it take you? When you type in that and you go to your shop, where does it take you to your website? And is your name up here when you get to your website?
No, when it takes me to the website. I don't know if it's mine or not, and it asks me to log in. So I don't have, sometimes my name pops up there and sometimes it doesn't. It's bizarre.
Okay, so I'm going to show you a different way, because right now it's free to sign up and your nephew doesn't have to do anything. And when he's asked to renew next year, he just doesn't have to do it. So,
yes.
But here you are at your home screen. Can you see that now? I'm on my mom's home screen, but okay. So you're going to go to organization.
Okay.
And you're going to click here on register new partners.
Okay.
And then when you go there, then you should see your name here. And then click next and it'll take you to filling in his information. When you get done with that, then you're going to go to his website, which will be up here in that address bar. It'll be partner.healyworld.net/ his username, whatever you choose.
Okay. Okay, I'll give that a try.
If you need help, just email me and we might get on a Zoom together, or we could be on the phone. I can help you through that.
All right. Well, I'm going to try it right now. So I'll let you guys know how it goes.
That sounds good.
Okay.
I have great. This is really great that you're doing this, because this has been a question I've had from, is basically how to sign up a customer, because based on where Healy's going with the subscriptions, I'm going to want to have customers, because that is going to contribute to my PV. So I don't have confidence in my back office either.
Well, they are going to be changing the back office, remember? That's why we've been delayed
not at my website. I don't, because
but that's what I mean. I think the links will definitely be different as they move into a new back office. All of those links will be secure. But Gwen and I have never advocated signing someone up as a customer, because I think in the very beginning stages, Gwen, didn't you lose a couple people? You like orphaned,
and they were honestly never resolved. They
no.
me for help, but I didn't know they bought. And when I went back and put in the sport ticket, so that was using the shop link. So after that happened to me, I put everyone in as a partner because it was free anyway, and then made the sale through that way. So I'm not going to say why it's taken so long to resolve that issue, but I just don't think it's resolved yet. And I would not use the shop link, and it takes about 5 extra minutes to do it under a partner versus sending someone a link. But also, if you send someone a link, I'm just sure that somehow it's going to get screwed up. Like, you guys have no idea. Like, I sold over 100 Healys that first month. You have no idea how many people did not type their email correctly, or didn't put the phone number right, or forgot what password they used. I think it's a really good idea for us to help our people make the purchase anyway, because I have never seen so many mistakes in my whole entire life. I'm a Virgo, so let's just say that first. But the problem with it really was I couldn't fix the mistakes, because if they mistype their password, we literally can't get into the back office to do anything. So, or if they did it and forgot, what they use as a password, guess what? I can't help them. And they can't even help themselves because we can't even put in a support ticket saying that there's a problem. So trust me. And another thing I would recommend, and it's not because I want to get into people's accounts, but people depend on us. What I did, and which I will do again during this promotion, is I have a yellow notebook, and I had wrote down the username and the password that people told me, because you guys have no idea how many times 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, 6 weeks later, people have no idea what their password is and they need help. And then you're stuck and you can't help them. And Maria gave me a tip that I've used unless they have a clear password, because when Maria set me up, she put Gwen and then the last 4 digits of my phone number. So I started doing that too. When people just couldn't think of a password, I just put their first name, last 4 of their phone number, and they pick the username. Also, one other trick that I'm sure all of you figured out by now, but it was something we didn't know in the beginning, was when you set them up as a partner, you want to make sure that whatever the username is not something weird or strange, because it ends up as part of their Healy website. So mine is, Healy partner.healyworld.net/new vision, but, or someone could be like Daylight or whatever you want to put there. But some people have like weird SJ2859, whatever. No one's going to remember that. Like no one's going to be able to find them. So that's another reason you want to kind of guide your people, because if you give people, like, I swear to God, they're going to screw it up. And then they're going to be calling you at 10 o'clock at night going, I don't know what I did. I need you to fix it. And you can't.
Guys, I thought it was customer and member. So what's the partner? Is that a new term?
Member partner is the same.
Okay.
Member.
All right. Got it.
Yeah.
And I just want to, I agree with you, Gwen, completely. And I do the same thing. But when it comes to a customer, I realize we don't know what to do with that right now, but I just want to make sure my understanding is correct. If we sign somebody up as a customer and then they choose to do the subscriptions, then we'll get the credits. If they're signed as a partner, we will not. They get it. They get it, their own individual credits for having.
You get the PV added to your wherever they're at. What it'll go to. Okay, you're saying if they're a customer, if they're a member, yes. Every time so when I have all my subscriptions, Chris gets credit for those points.
So do you, because that's how you meet your minimal.
I meet that, and then as soon as it's 200 points on the 201st point, that what's left over goes to my weakest leg. So if I've accumulated through my customers and myself enough points, then they start getting added to my weaker leg.
So both of you get points.
Both of us get credit for that. Yes.
On your subscriptions.
Yep. And I think this is so important, and we need to really embrace this. I wish Healy would have been doing this a long time ago, because we all would have had downlines that were actually creating more income opportunity for all of us, because every single business center that wanted to build the business and be here would have been providing at least 50 PV from their business center every single month. That will happen in March. That will be what happens in March, is we're going to start seeing that, oh my gosh, my right and my left leg both have more points than they're typically having at the beginning of the month. That's because all of a sudden you've got people that have the credit cards are being hit for those subscriptions, and the points are then being accumulated. So it's an amazing thing. That's where passive income comes from in multi-level. We haven't experienced that. We've been experiencing income when there's a sale.
Okay, let me again, if I had no subscriptions then, but people under me do, then I'm taken care of.
If you have customers that have subscriptions, your business center gets to count that, but not your member subscriptions.
That's what I just said. That's what I just asked. don't they have to be a customer for me to get credit for their
Okay,
subscription?
I'm sorry. I thought you meant to get points in your dual leg bonus. I wasn't thinking about you activated. Okay, so in order for you to get activated in your business center, you have to have a subscription or you have to have customers that have subscriptions. If your members have subscriptions, it doesn't count for your business center being
But
active,
it'll
but
go
it
to the
does,
dual leg. Yeah, I got it. Okay.
but you get to count the points for the dual leg. Sorry, I misunderstood what you were asking.
Okay, so I just, so if I got somebody who doesn't want to sell, having them as a customer, and it actually works well. I
Better for
guess
you.
Yeah, right.
Better
Yeah.
for you if they want a subscription. Yes. And we're now coming into in March, I think that's when they're doing it, is the resonance will actually be subscription based. I think that's amazing because people will still want to use the resonance. And if it's subscription based, but let's say you have somebody who doesn't want the revitalization, they don't have any animals, so they wouldn't use the animal subscription. They don't wear a watch, they wouldn't want any of that. They don't want the DNA. I don't know what PV will be given to the resonance, but monthly, if that person says, okay, yeah, I want to own a Healy, but I also want to have access to the resonance, I'm going to buy that as a subscription. Yay, that meets their PV for their business center. So they can still build their business, but they don't have to have all these other subscriptions that they may not use. So
Right.
I think it's going to be amazing. I think a lot of people will find that they're buying subscriptions now because they want to make sure their business center is active, but maybe they're like, oh, I don't really use the revitalization, or I really don't use the watch. I don't need their connector fee. I don't really use that. But you know what? Yeah, the resonance subscription would be really nice. Now, those of us who are already in by the end of this month have been grandfathered in to having the resonance for free. So again, we're gonna have to, for all of us who have been in, that's a dual-edged sword right there.
Wow. Can I ask another question? This is great.
Sure.
Thank you so
You
much.
bet.
I'm curious about the coil because I listened to something from corporate or whatever, and I get this idea that, I mean, that it's going to like magnify the intensity.
Microcurrent and the microcurrent. Mhm.
Right. Okay. So the debate was out there, which is better. Should I just wear the thing, or do I need to connect with the current itself? But I guess what they're saying is, yeah, you're going to get more juice if you use this coil thing on it. Okay. Is this coil thing it's a separate physical piece, correct?
It's an apparatus.
That you buy.
Mm-hmm. And I have no clue how much it's going to cost. We don't have any information on that yet that I know
Okay.
of.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe on one of these Wednesday calls, they're going to say, okay, here's going to be the price. That would be awesome if they would give us some of that information, but I haven't heard anything yet on that.
Okay. All right,
So-
cool. I just wanted to let you know, I'm still at 3%. I really don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think it already has been at 3%, trying to update sync in progress. When I turned it on, it was already there. So maybe I don't know. Maybe I can stop. I'll play with it. At least I know where to play.
Take your phone and your Healy and go for a drive. See, just never know. Take your Healy for a drive.
Yeah, it does take a long time but it will actually finish. It seems like forever, I promise you. And just know when you get to 10%, it'll do the same thing. And you're like, oh my gosh. So sit down with a Netflix or something, so that your mind is distracted.
I had to plug my phone in for it to sync.
Oh,
Can I ask a question?
That's a great tidbit.
Yeah.
Thank you, Terry, for that.
Yeah. Oh, you guys are just amazing. Thank you.
So am I to understand that if you buy a Healy Resonance after this month, you're going to have to pay for a subscription to use the resonance?
Potentially, yes. They haven't given us a specific date. I think what they're really waiting on is the back office to be ready. Because remember, they said January 1st, and then it got pushed back, and then now we have a sale and it's being pushed back. And I really feel like maybe they haven't gotten the platform for the new back office really down yet.
those of us who use the resonance just for ourselves and the people we love, are we going to be charged monthly, or you're saying?
If you already have a resonance, by the end of this month, you are grandfathered into owning your resonance flat out and being able to access the cloud whenever you want without paying a subscription fee.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's why it's
Are we
important that
better off-
we,
I'm
That
thinking of
would be a
getting,
big motive. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. That needs to be right there, a big motivator for anyone buying a resonance now.
that's exactly it, or upgrading to a resonance.
do
Yeah.
you know what the subscription to it might cost?
No, they haven't let us know yet. We don't know what the PV is and we don't know what the price will be. We do know that they are bringing the price of each Healy down. They think the resonance will be below 200 or 2000. It'd be nice if it was below 200, below 2000, but then there will be the subscription factor when you factor that in. When you add that in, it'll be higher
Oh, wow.
for long term. But again, people who don't want the other apps, this is going to be perfect for them because that's their monthly fee to be able to run their Healy.
And did we ever get that gift we were supposed to get, that extra program?
I haven't seen it shown up in mine yet.
Me either.
And then I bought your program, Gwen, for broadcasting, and I never got any emails. I don't know what's going on, but I've sent a couple emails to both of you trying to figure out, am I on the list yet or what?
What's your name?
Christina Napoleon.
I thought I emailed you, but you should have also got a receipt. I know you've been added because I think in your case, Maria sent me an email just about you to be added before I would have normally added you. But I don't know why you didn't get an email from us.
I don't.
Are you talking about, the prosperity program, the Attract Abundance?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the one that you had asked to be added before waiting until the next group.
Yes, and then you will be getting, Gwen sent me all the stuff, so I'll be sending out the Attract Abundance tonight. So you will be getting an Attract Abundance tonight.
Oh,
Okay,
great.
but I've been broadcasted.
Yes.
You were added week on Wednesday or Thursday, whatever day the special request. I got a special request in your case.
It was on the 4th or the 5th. Yeah,
Okay. All right. Thank you.
you bet.
And did you get my blossom?
I did. I sent you an email back that I needed the identifier on the blossom.
I did, and I sent you that.
Oh,
I sent
haven't.
I sent it
been
by cloud and I sent it directly as an email, both, because I wasn't sure. So I did that yesterday.
Yeah, I haven't been on email since yesterday
Okay.
either.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Love-
Sherry has her hand up. Sherry, you've been really patient. Thank you.
Thank
What
you.
can we
Hi,
do for you?
Maria. I had a
Hi.
question. Okay, hi. Okay, so now I have a second Healy and I am confused. Okay, I have my one Healy on my phone, my iPhone, and I have it on my iPad. So now the second pink dot Healy that I have, I think it's just a pink dot.
Okay.
What do I do and where do I load that? And you were talking about being able to, or Gwen was talking about being able to test somebody's pink dot by putting it on their phone. I mean, how many pink dot apps can you have on one phone?
Yeah, so what happens is when you turn on that new Healy and you open up your pink dot app on your phone or the program is going to ask, is your Healy on? And you say yes. And then it's going to say connect to your Healy or search for another Healy. If it's a brand new device to your phone has never, the cloud and your phone have never made the connection together with that serial number. So click search for another Healy, and then it will ask you to take a picture of the QR code on the back.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you do that, now you've made the whole circle connection and you'll be able to see and upload. You'll get the blue screen. If you go to our YouTube channel, that's what I just put up, was that 18-minute video on actually doing that, exactly what you need to do. You'll see it there. So if you go to our YouTube channel, just click on, setting up a pink dot, and it's the exact same pattern with that each time. Now, let's say you have that new one and you've got all the files and programs and yay, I got to use it. But then you want to run your other one. You know what your phone's going to ask you to do? It's going to ask you to take a picture of your QR code on your original Healy again. And so that's what you do with different Healys is you're going to have to find it. It'll ask for a QR code. Yeah. Because you need to make that full circle.
Got it. And I think I figured out because my iPad and my phone were not syncing for the new clients. And so I went to the iPad and I had not pushed the little toggle that says sync phone data to the iPad. So it was as simple as going under settings for the iPad and pushing sync the phone data. So I'm hoping that will,
help the
that
previous
situation.
Conversation we had. Yeah. That's great. I didn't even think about the device settings. You might have to go into settings. Thank you for that. That's awesome.
And then the other, I know you had said I had talked about the person with the epilepsy, and thank you always for answering on the fan Telegram page.
Yes.
So you were saying use the pendulum. How would I do? I have one. I've never really done it for other people. When you're saying, see if she only wants 15 minutes, how do you do that?
Yeah. So with your pendulum, you know how to read your pendulum. You know how to read yes, no, whatever.
Yes.
So what you could do is you could just ask the question, should we run this particular program? Yes or no? Should we run it for more than 5 minutes? Yes or no? More than 10 minutes? Yes or no? More than 15, a full session? Yes or no? You could ask that first. Are we safe running a full session with no symptoms coming up that are, not unwanted symptoms coming up, or harsh detoxing system, however you want to word it. And then you can go back from there. So I would say with somebody that's pretty, they got a crisis situation, is make sure you're honoring that the body may only want 5 minutes of pure, and that's it. That's all they need today. And then you can go back in or a few hours later and ask again, am I safe to run? Is it safe to run? Is it in the highest and best interest of that individual and the body and what it's going through to run another session or another portion of a session? So that's what I would do. That's how I would honor that particular person, because you don't know what else is going on. Somebody's in crisis. They have a lot of different things going on with every meridian, all of their circulatory system, their respiratory system, everything is changing. The hormonal system, the adrenals and the thyroid are probably misfiring. There's a lot going on and you don't know. So you don't want to just intentionally put anything out there or not intentionally, but put anything out there that could be harmful. You want to really honor and respect that person and where they're at, because we don't know. So we just want to be really honoring of that system. Somebody who wasn't in crisis, they could handle a healing crisis, right? But this particular person may not be able to, and we certainly don't want to push the body.
And then would you just remind me, I did get the booklet. I'm so excited, in the ohms number. And my father's crazy. My father was electronics teacher, and I always would hear him talk about Ohm's law. That was his deal. As I was a kid, it was the Ohm's law. So my question is, do those numbers, let's just say I've had Lyme's disease and I've been treated and whatnot and pretty good with that. But by putting that number, say, writing it, and then say putting on a little piece of paper, putting it in a pocket, what does that achieve in my body?
So you are changing the dynamics of your information field. So the energetic field around you is carrying information, and you are now changing the information in that field, which then transmutes down to the physical.
And you had said you could put those ohms numbers also with the written intention after you scan the aura as well?
Sure. When you can put it, you can put it in the blue dot. We've shown that, where you can go in and create your own. Yes, you can put your ohms numbers in there. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate everything you guys do.
Thanks. We love teaching and sharing, and we love all of you guys. I haven't looked in, let's see, we've got Marilee still has her hand up, Heather has her hand up, and Dana had their hands up. So Heather, start with you. What do you need?
So, okay, you know how I know Gwen is a big fan of not using the cords, right? So she'll run them. So that's kind of more or less putting it in your information field, right? Is that what it's doing? Because it's not direct microcurrent.
Right.
So is there a limit? Like, I pay attention to the meridians a lot with kidney and you know, like stomach, spleen, pancreas, that kind of thing. Is there a limit to the number of like times like you can put that on? Like I know they say with programs, 3 to 4.
Gwen uses hers. There's been times where she's run programs all day long.
Right? So it shouldn't hurt you, right? I mean, there's no.
No. Well, I want to say something. The first thing you said, though, I think when it's next to me, it's not just informational field, because with pets.
Yeah, when it's right next to you, yeah.
You're
Because
getting
I
the
wear mine like
vibration.
right next to me.
I have it on me, so that is getting microcurrents. I don't think that's informational field
Really?
scalar stuff. Yeah, because
Okay.
it's still
The hertz
frequency.
would be. Yeah, that's
No.
true. The hertz would be.
So, I mean, I don't think that's informational field stuff. Do you, Maria?
I think the vibration that's definitely is there if it's right next to your skin, but people who are, I know, wearing it in their pocket or having it near them, I think it's more information field. But you know, yeah, when you have it right next to you, you're getting the vibration of everything.
So
But
even when I
wait.
that.
It's putting out microcurrents. So I'll give you another example that tells what my angle on this is. It's like my dog used to love it on the Pink Dot app. He doesn't love it right now on the Pink Dot app. So on the Blue Dot, I can do whatever I want with him. But on the Pink Dot, if I put it next to him, like under relax, he will literally get up and walk away from it. So there is something it's emitting that he can feel that I can't feel in a low setting, because it's only if I tell you guys, he can feel it, but you can only feel microcurrents. You can't feel Blue Dot or energy field stuff. So what I'm trying to say is when I put it next to him and it's something he doesn't like, and I'm not like pressing it, I'm not waking him up, I'm not annoying him, I'm literally laying it right behind him or on top of him. If it's something he doesn't like, he will get up and get away from it. And he's been doing that lately on the sleep mode. So there's something with the sleep mode now is agitating him. But my point is, if it was informational field stuff, that wouldn't be happening. Dogs are very sensitive to microcurrents. And I have a feeling, I haven't done it because I don't like the high voltage, but I have a feeling that and I do know this because I have done this once, if you turn it up to like 100, you can actually feel it. That is my, you can't feel informational field stuff. Informational field scalar wave stuff, you do not feel. So there is actually, in my opinion, there is a microcurrent coming out of this when it's right next to you, on you, next to your dog, you know, wherever you have it. Not when it's across the bed, not when it's across the room. That's more informational field stuff. So I just want to clarify that when I'm doing Pink Dot app and it's on me, I feel like I'm getting the microcurrents because I just don't have an attachment. I don't have this like clipped on and then the probes on my arm, but I still feel like I'm getting the microcurrents.
Well, and your watch application showed that you were definitely changing because you've never worn cables.
Right.
So, and it would be emitting if it was right. I mean, you would be getting it if it was right next to you too, because or else they wouldn't have the coil that's amplifying that.
Right.
So Blue Dot is just information field. Like when you vibrate, that's just information field.
Uh-huh.
And then if it's literally sitting, because I can sometimes, like when I go to sleep at night, I mean, mine's on a lanyard and I have it on a short leash, so it's close to me, but I can hear it sometimes. Have you heard anything
and
coming out of
I
yours?
also, and I had, you know, I put ohms frequency in a washer, and the gal who was autistic, she could hear it. She could hear it, you know, so, you know, we don't even know what we don't know. You know, to counter Gwen a little bit, and as far as what you can feel in your information field as far as hertz, I've done a broadcasting where somebody literally said, "Did you just start that?" Because I literally just felt it. So I think there's a sensitivity level with all of us. I'm not as sensitive. Steve can walk in and know if the beamer's running. He just can feel it. He walks in the door and he can just feel it. He walk in the door and feel if somebody's Healy is running or if I'm running mine, you know. So I think everybody has a different level of sensitivity. And so, but Gwen has never used the cables. And when she was running the watch, she was seeing a difference in her heart rate variability by not running the cables. So,
well, I'll tell you something else I feel about the coil, and I can't prove this because I don't have one yet, but this is what I feel about the coil, because coils have their own I can't think of the word right now, but okay. So I want you guys not to think of intensity like in volume. Okay. On the Healy, there is an intensity like 15 going to 100% or 0 to 100%. And that changes how you feel the electricity. I don't think coil means volume. I think coil creates a different field. That's what I'm going to say. A coil like in a Mobius coil, and that's what I have experience with. The Mobius coil creates a field that it's not linear. So if you're going to talk about strength and power, that's in amplitude, that's in the voltage. You know, when you're talking about a coil, and the most famous coils are Tesla coils, they're not stronger because you're using more voltage or using more amps. They're stronger because of the design of the coil. So the coil creates a field. And so you can imagine, I don't even know where my Healy cords are, but let's say this is a Healy cord and you're putting it on an attachment on your wrist and you have a direct current going into your wrist. Okay. But it's having some type of systemic effect, but you're still having a point of contact. To me, the difference in a coil is creating a field in a space of where the coil is, which is different than a linear one point contact. So I can't prove this because I'm not the engineer behind the Healy coil, but what I have a feeling is it's not going to change that intensity of how you feel it. It's going to be a more, like you should look up Mobius coils on the internet. Mobius coils is the word. The Tesla coils, like I said, it was a delivery system that they felt was more inclusive and more comprehensive. And it's almost like an energy field, more like this, like a circular, but more like a sphere than it is a linear contact into your hand. So that's my opinion, but like I said, I haven't seen one to test it. The way you could test it is if you have a person like Maria or I or someone else who can feel energy, you could actually, like, I think this would be it. When we get one, we'll see. But if you were to test a point like this, and I can dowse how far the energy comes out, when you have a coil and you put your hands into that energy, you'll start at some point to feel the energy. And what I think is it's going to be around energy that's going to be more encompassing, more than it's going to be like, oh, look, I can dowse out 5 feet and there's the end of the energy field. It's just a guess on coils.
Okay, so trying to think if there's anything else here. I think the instructions at the very beginning said not to put the Healy near the head or the heart. I think that was related to the actual electrodes, the microcurrent, not necessarily the Healy itself. Anybody else? Everybody still has their hand up. So Heather, do you still have a question? Okay. Sherry, do you still have a question? Because your hand is up.
Yes, I do. Okay, so I'm trying to put in the one of the subscriptions, and it keeps telling me that my expiration date is not correct on my credit card, but it is. And now I've clicked it like 3 times. It says don't click, but it keeps getting like a red exclamation. So I've changed the spacing next to the expiration date, but it still won't take it. So either I've been charged for 4 times.
So can you go into your back office and go to
Wait, I think I know the answer to this.
Yeah, I do too.
Are you using a 4-digit expiration number?
No,
you
it's
can
3
only-
digits. It's a
only
Visa.
2 digits.
It
Try
has to
the
be,
2.
she's right. I just had this too. It has to be like 0224. Don't put 022024.
Yeah.
Oh, so it has to be 02, like 20. Oh, okay. So
24,
hopefully I
yeah.
haven't been charged 5 times.
No, you
for it.
haven't.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Today I talked to my friend Mary, and she said the bioenergetic revitalization module has changed her life.
Good. That's awesome.
So I've decided
Yay.
today is the sign up. Okay, great.
Good.
Okay.
Very cool.
Okay,
That's good. We'll
thank
be
you.
glad to hear. We'll be glad to hear. I haven't run a whole lot of them, so I'll be anxious to hear what that happens. Dana, you have another question?
I didn't, but the lady that was just speaking, I would love to have more information. I have the bioenergetic revitalization, and I would love to have resourced what each of the programs are meant to do. Sure, I'm using them, but I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm bowling in the dark and I hear the pins go down. But I don't know if I
Never heard that before. I love that. I'm going to use that. I feel like I'm
That's a
bowling
good
in
one.
the dark.
Yeah. So
That's
yeah, I don't know if
awesome.
I got a strike or a spare, but so I would love to have some definitions of what the programs mean, if anybody knows where that would be.
Yeah, I haven't seen any, but I also have the revitalization and just haven't had a chance in my world to just deep dive into it. So I would love to do that. Yeah.
And I ordered it, so I would love it too if someone comes across the list.
Tommy, do you still have a question?
I do.
Okay. Oh,
I'm sorry. I don't know how to raise my hand on here.
oh, you just go up to your picture and there's 3 little dots
I did that. Uh-huh.
down at the bottom. Let me see during chat. I guess I just always look at mine in a different way.
It says pin.
Chat. That's okay. Go ahead and tell us what you need. I'll look for it too.
What is this revitalization program? Do you have to buy that?
Yeah, that's a subscription. It's one of the new subscriptions that came out.
Okay. And then also I want to get one and then upgrade it like that gold and then upgrade it to the residents.
Right.
But I don't know whether to buy it under me or, you know, under my own name or use a friend's name.
No, use a friend's name use somebody that if unless somebody, use sign up because then you'll get commission.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sign somebody up.
Sign somebody up. Yep. And then use their spot.
Even if it's they're not really signing up. They're just doing me a favor.
Yeah.
I can use my own credit card and so on.
Yep. It's just a loophole that you can get commission off of that sale.
And can someone help me sign someone up? I mean, I know my upline should, but I don't know if they're always available.
Yeah, we can figure out a way to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You bet.
Maria, how do I know? I clicked the button for the subscription. How do I know it went through?
So
It
if you're
turned-
gonna, yeah, so
Go
you're
on.
gonna go into your back office. I'm gonna go there really
Okay.
quick and go, oops, it's on my other, let me go back to my pink dot. Frequencies. Let me see if I can find it really quick for you because I can just tell you where it's at. It's under my shop.
Okay, subscriptions. That's where I
Yeah, there you
signed
go.
up. Okay.
Okay. Oh,
Then
and it should just auto populate where your subscriptions are. So go to my shop. It's about
right, I'm
almost at the
there
bottom.
and I'm looking
Yep.
for my
So for everybody
subscriptions.
else, the shop is, let me come here
And nothing is showing.
so nothing has gone through then.
So maybe it takes a while because it says don't click more than once. Okay, so you click that. Okay, let me see big. Okay,
I'm
got that, and I don't.
I'm in Chrome. Darn it, I'm in Chrome again. Sorry, I didn't get into my Edge. But that's where you're gonna go. Is you're gonna go to the shop. So yeah, I would give it time. Don't go back in and reorder it right away. You've got time. So don't go back. Go tomorrow. Go in tomorrow and look in your back office and see if there's a subscription there.
So do they send it to you? How do you know that you have it?
So
for me,
you will
they
get
did send me an email. They sent me an email saying I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then in your pink dot, you will, a lot of times there's just a prompt that says you have an update, or you can go into the settings at the bottom of all of your programs in your pink dot, go clear to the bottom, click on settings, and then check for update. It usually takes a couple of days for them to add a subscription.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'm thinking that I need to be off this call. So is there anybody else that has any questions that we can answer really quickly?
Maria, do you want to go ahead and announce, are you doing this Friday again?
I'm not going to do Friday because I think everybody's kind of got a handle on the sale, but definitely tomorrow.
Okay,
Tomorrow,
so,
5:30 Central.
yeah,
And
so that's,
I put in the chat. So people need to look in the chat. If you don't know where to find that, go to the chat and then you can find all the information there.
also, I put in the chat my email address. If you guys got on this call somehow and don't get our newsletter from Maria and I, if you send me an email, I'll add you to the email list. And then you'll find out when the Zoom calls are. But for the people that were questioning what time it starts, every Tuesday from the beginning of this, it's been 5 p.m. Central. And Maria's is been on Wednesdays for a few weeks, 5:30 p.m. Central, 4:30 p.m. Mountain.
Yeah, so it's in the chat. You can email us if you need that specific. And also it's in Gwen's newsletters that she sends out. So go back to an old newsletter of Gwen's and you'll be able to find it because it's the same exact Zoom address. If you go to zoom.us, you can type in for her into the meeting number, or the meeting ID is 679-8588-588. I love your meeting number. Mine, mine is 8333-99-72461. So as long as you have the meeting number, you can go to zoom.us and click in the meeting ID, and neither one of them need passwords. Okay, so I'm gonna say la vie.
Yeah, me too. We'll post
so-
stuff on YouTube, and Maria, see you guys next week. And if you have some questions or stuff you want to cover, we're doing this every Tuesday.
Yep. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Have a
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a great. Bye-bye.